All right, one of the most important things, and we didn't talk about this at the beginning, I know, but chances are good you're watching this all the way through, we hope. Anytime you do a DSP, measure the seat's location before you start sliding it back and forth. If it's yours, I get it, you're gonna put it back to where it goes. If it's somebody else's, like they are for us, because I don't drive this truck, we need to know where this person was sitting so that we can properly set our microphones in place. To measure this properly, do not use the steering wheel as a measurement piece because you may have to raise and lower this to get these screws out. So go to something that is fixed, such as the top of the dash here, the knee buster. Measure the complete seat. So measure to this area here, measure to somewhere like this line right here that is an easy place to remember. Measuring to the center of the cushion, not a good idea. Find points that are easily rememberable, like this area here, or this area here, or this line here, and get all of your measurements, and then measure from the floor up to the base, because you may have to raise and lower the seat, or you can measure from the top here up, or from the butt to the top, whichever you prefer, but get that all measured out. You may want to measure the steering wheel from the top to here. That way you can put this back down if it needs to go back down. But the seat has to be back in its location. And of course, he doesn't have a cool little button here. And don't rely on those cool little buttons because you'd be surprised. Most people don't even know what those buttons do or how to use them. Always measure the seat. The key 200.4 microphone is designed to go here on the top of the headrest. There is a switch that turns on and off right here. And back here at the amplifier, it plugs into what looks like a bass knob hole on the 200.4. In fact, it is a microphone. The only speakers that should be playing while doing this test are the front speakers. The rears, if you're not using them, either need to be disconnected or faded all the way to the front. The subwoofer also needs to be turned off. For that, we just pull the input signal to it, and that shuts those down. Make sure the windows are all the way up and you're in a pretty quiet space. I mean, it's not like it has to be like, but quiet enough. Play Pink Noise that you can download from their website. I just used the Test and Tune from Educar. Make sure that your bass and treble is set to flat. Fader left and right is set to the middle. You're gonna turn this up 3/4 of the way. You're gonna hear that. Make sure the doors are unlocked. Just sit down, relax. This is the hard part. It's gonna make a whole bunch of noises. Tick, 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 tick. Do all this. Takes about 5 minutes. Just let it do its thing. And that magic sound tells us it is successful. And that's key. There's a difference between completion and successful. Successful is the happy tone, which is what they call it. And then there's a sad tone, not like that, but you get my point. That if you do it wrong, or if it sees some anomaly that you need to fix. Now, if you do have some anomaly, there is still hope. Hang on. There are some LEDs and some blinkies and some noises that'll help you diagnose the problem if you go over their website. So use that QR code to download their full owner's manual. Now we're going to talk about tips for if for some reason this didn't work out the way you wanted it to. You don't have to do this, but this just makes you feel better inside to be like, hey, you're not going to screw it up. First thing is listen to the sound. Make sure there's enough mid-bass or high frequency. If there isn't, go into the radio's factory tone settings and turn it up until you get it how you like. Once you've done that and you're like pretty pleased with it, what you want to do is check to see your center image. Make sure that it's coming out of this portion of the car. If it's not, go to your balance, adjust it over however many points you feel it needs to be. And if that's perfect and you're like, oh, this sounds fantastic, what you want to do now is do the opposite. So if you move this over 2 clicks or 1 click, move it the other way 1 click. And if you went into your bass and treble and you turn the treble up 2, set it all back to 0, and turn it down 2, turn your mid-range down 1. So do the opposite of what you thought sounded good. You're kind of seeing where I'm going here. Now run the test again. When you're done, reset everything back to 0. And just like that, everything will be EQ'd the exact way you wanted it to be. Pretty cool, right? That's your hack. I need to listen to this to see if I need to do any of that, and we'll go from there. All right, once you get that all figured out, which I just did, I typically move it 1 over to the driver's side. I feel it tends to be a little biased this direction, so I put it this way so it pushes it the other way. Go back to the gains, start slowly turning up the gains, volume up where you had it, playing some dynamic music, and kind of feel it out and see which one sounds good. There is no right or wrong answer, guys, on gain setting, okay? The only wrong thing is if you blow the speakers. Use your ears, play dynamic music, start turning it up, okay? And you're gonna go right away. If you can't hear back here, have somebody else sit in the front, like your wife, somebody that has good hearing. Start cracking it up a little bit, and it'll be, oh, turn it down. You can hear it. It's immediately. It'll just, it's digital input on that thing. When it doesn't like what you're giving it, it tells you. There's also peak indicators on there if you want to do it the old-fashioned way with the test tones and stuff like that, but you do need to disconnect the speakers in order to do that, which makes it very impossible to do on the key because all the speakers plug into the same end that the power is on. That's why I don't do it that way. Put your balance and fader back in place where it was. Now we're gonna move on to the key 501, which is not done through a microphone. It is done back at the amplifier. For the key 501, you do need to go to Kicker's website and download their test tones to a thumb drive, to your phone, to something. I use Dropbox. I just store all my test files out on Dropbox. It makes it really easy to get to my phone to use them. The first is the gain match track. You have to pick whether you want 0, 5, 10, 15 dBs of overlap. I'm gonna use 10, that's what I like. I have good results with that. Press and hold the key button until this light over here blinks. Once it's blinked, start your track, turn up the gain till the light comes on. And then start turning it down till the light no longer comes on. Let it do a full sweep or two without that light coming on, and you know you have it all set and ready to go. Now it's on to the actual tuning, and that is called the sweep. Whatever you picked for your gain match, 0, 5, 10, whatever, make sure you pick the same one for your sweep track. Now this is where the fun part comes in. That same light that you were just looking at when you press and held the button, it blinked. Now what you need to do is press and hold it so that it blinks the first time. Keep holding it and it's gonna start blinking slower. So the first blink is like really quick, and then the second time, which is what you're looking for on this one, is like this. And it takes a couple seconds. I think 10. Sometimes it is easier if you just shut off the amp and turn it back on between these two tests. All right, we got a nice slow blink going. You're gonna hear almost nothing at first because it's very low frequency, and then it's gonna start to do what it's doing now. You can kind of hear the ground shaking. It's doing its test, and then it's gonna get up to what it almost seems an incredibly loud amount, and then it's just gonna shut right off. It takes about 44 seconds to do the whole test. This light's gonna be blinking the whole time. Here we go. And then it stops. And this is the anxiety part, because the light just went out and the amplifier is just basically sitting there doing nothing. Now what we're gonna do is stare at this amplifier until it starts to do something, like that right there. And that's it. That's all she does. You don't have to press the button, you don't have to do anything else. If you've walked away and missed it, you can see where it might be a problem. It's not, because if you hear audio, then you know it's back on, because it actually mutes the subwoofers while this is happening. So if you come back, like you went to the bathroom while it was happening, you come back and turn it on, you have bass, you know it's done its thing. That makes it pretty easy. I like to disconnect the subwoofer volume while I'm doing this, just because it makes it easier to get to the gain knob. And at this point, turn it on, make sure it works, and then start adjusting your crossovers and fun stuff like that. But the one thing you can't do, 100% you can't do, is go back and adjust the gain. The gain is set. This is all she's gonna do. So if you get done and you're like, oh man, there is no more. There is no more, you need a bigger amp. We never had that problem, but you know, hey, it's possible. Now before you start playing bass, make sure that the bass knob up front is turned all the way up. And like all good systems, once they're all done and we're happy and we're like, yeah, this is cool, it's time to take a final listen and just see what she does. Man, I don't care what you say. I love me some Morels. Oh, it sounds so good, so ticky, so nice. What do you think, Fernando?
Sounds okay.
This guy's a putz, I swear. Yeah, sounds okay on this side. Yeah, I know. You want to be on the. He wants to be on the driver's side, so he can experience the time alignment and the joy that is the 1C tune. Funny thing. We were just talking, because I'm old and he's not. I was like, you know, if you rolled up back in the 90s to one of those car shows with these two little amplifiers and it was hitting this loud and banging that hard and doing all that fun stuff, they would literally punch you in the face and be like, bro, where are you hiding your other stuff? Where's it at? These things are so impressive, they make you want to smack your mama. Wasn't that a car? That's a commercial. I feel like that was a commercial. Anyways, No smacking your mamas. Hey guys, probably need to edit that out. I probably won't, I probably should. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Fernando, if you please.
On to the next one, guys.
We hope you guys have a wonderful night as always, and we'll see you later next time. Bye.